Hello YouTube, Shock back here again with some more content for you guys. As requested over my last video, we will be looking at some Flametongue versus Rockbiter testing, some theory crafting around how Wind Fury plays into all of it, as well as going over some top parsing shamans to back up our testing and see what other people are doing. Before we jump into it, please do let me know if the audio and video quality are up to standard, as I know there were quite some comments on my previous guide in relation to this, and as always, any advice and feedback is greatly appreciated, guys, as I'm trying to make the best possible shaman content for you. So getting straight into it, our main question for today is how can we be sure that double Rockbiter is the best option for weapon enchants, and also comparing this to Rockbiter Flametongue as well as double Flametongue. Wind Fury obviously is still available only to druids in Season of Discovery, so we can't quite test this ourselves. However, with all the testing that we are about to do as well as the shaman logs, we will try to make a solid hypothesis on why Rockbiter still beats Wind Fury. So getting straight into it, to summarize what I'm about to do here is record the average white damage of normal attacks as well as lava lash damage. This is of course for every set of enchants. Then we will put this into a little Excel spreadsheet and in the end compare and contrast the data in order to reach an educated decision on what is the best. So going over here, we will just apply first my double Rockbiter and we will proceed into seeing how this plays out. So again, what I'm really going to be doing is simply auto-attacking and using Lava Lash. So let's kill the first mob here, only auto-attacks. You can pretty much see here that my main attack is hitting for about, well, if I stop critting here, my main attack is hitting for about 70 to 80 damage. My main hand this is, and then my offhand is hitting for about 40, I'd say 37 to 45, something in that range. A lot of misses on my offhand here for some reason. Okay, yeah. So actually, I've already obviously done this before recording, so I'm pretty confident with those numbers. So if we actually put in here 75 to 80, and then actually I just put in an average, and then I'll put 45 here. Let's just make sure these are correct numbers. 75 and 45 seem about right, so let's just do another quick test here. Okay, big critical. Okay, so that's 55 and a 75. That was another 75 on the main. Let's see if I get an offhand hit. Yeah, that's 50. Yeah, so that's about 75 and 50 would be the standard white attack damages. Let's just make sure we have Lava Lash here. I don't really need attack here, bro, so let's just hit that. Okay, so that hit for 110. I can tell you this is pretty much the average, so I will actually put here 105, but if we test this a bit, the Lava Lash damage goes between around 100 to 110. This is of course post buffs. That was a 95 one. So post buffs, as you all pretty much know, no, I'm not a bot, mate. As you all pretty much know, Lava Lash has been buffed and now deals about well, exactly 150% of damage, of hand damage. So that's actually pretty good. Yeah, that would be another 105 to 110 Lava Lash hit, and then the final one 103 again. So these would be our sort of baseline testing figures here for double Rockbiter. If I go in now and I put in Flametongue in my offhand, of course, keeping Rockbiter in the main hand, let's see how those numbers change. And where are we with this set of enchants? If I go here onto the auto attack, let's see what I'm seeing here. That was a 70 on the main, 63 on the main. There's a 43 on the offhand. There's a 43 and then a 70 again. So let's just make sure we kill a couple mobs here. Also important to pay attention to the actual Flametongue damage. So of course we'll be adding this. This is a 60 and a 40, and then as you can see here, Flametongue is hitting for exactly 13 to 14. So the averages here would be, I'd say, 60 to 65, and then that slowly goes to again 40 to 45. I'd probably just put in 42. Let's just get another set of hits over here. And then Flametongue actually adds plus 14 damage. Let's just make sure we kill another one of those guys here. That's a 43. That's pretty much what I was expecting. Oh my god, so much criticals. Okay, 40 and 60. And that's another 40 and 60. So I think we can just put that at 40 to 60. And then if we actually go in here and check in the Lava Lash, that was a 109. Let's just stop attacking. 105. And then last one. Oh no. Okay. Last one will be here. 103. And then, oh well, he dodged that. I just heal up a bit. Okay, final Lava Lash is 101. Okay, so we already are getting quite interesting information here, as you can pretty much say from both the Excel and the testing we've been doing so far. It seems like having double Rockbiter compared to Rockbiter and Flametongue in the offhand, the Flametongue of course, is not changing Lava Lash's damage. Now, if we all read the tooltip of Lava Lash, it says it charges your offhand with lava, instantly dealing 150% offhand damage, and the damage is increased by 20% if your offhand is enchanted with Flametongue. Now, offhand is enchanted with Flametongue, however, because Rockbiter provides us 137 attack power, what happens is that the attack power increase for the offhand damage in the double Rockbiter combination is adding up those 20% increase from the Lava Lash itself, as if I had Flametongue. So basically, this means is that the Lava Lash column so far becomes completely irrelevant, right? Because Lava Lash seems to be hitting for about the same amount. Of course, there's always like higher chance to crit, or rather difference in criticals, so you might get a bit lucky, you might get a bit unlucky. But of course, we're trying to make here some baseline, get some baseline numbers and just showcase the difference in general. So as you can see here, that would be another Lava Lash. Yeah, this one hit for 117, so this could be on the higher end of it. However, you could pretty much still get that 117 hit on the double Rockbiter as well, so that wouldn't be, I would say, the biggest of differences. So let's just make sure we kill a last of those thunder heads, and then we can move into the last test. 110 disease again, 60-40 on the white attacks, 114 this was, and I think as you saw, Flametongue is adding 14 damage per auto attack on my offhand, and this gets essentially capped at 24 criticals. I think as you all saw, the critical was essentially capped at 20. So, okay, that's a level 24 mob. Let's just play out my tests on him as well. As you can see here, white numbers are getting a bit lower here, but that's of course because of armor value, and we really want to be testing our damage only on the thunderheads, so it's consistent. But as you can see, Lava Lash is consistently hitting for 105. So let's get us over to the last of the weapon combinations. And for anyone that's wondering why we are not testing Frostband at all, to be fair, it's a good question. I might be able to do this later on as well. However, I feel like Frostband, first of all, it's rank 1, whereas we get rank 4 of Rockbiter on level 24, as well as the fact that Rockbiter has always been more of a sort of PvP enchant, if you will. And damage-wise, I am pretty sure is not going to match up Flametongue. So we currently have double Flametongue here, so let's see how are we doing onto the Zebra. So this is a main hand of 58, that's a main of 50. These were all offhand hits. Okay, come on, 49 on the main, 30 on the offhand, that's a 58 on the main, 58 on the main, 35. So basically, if you see here, that's essentially doing between 50 and 60 on the main hand, and then between 30 and 35 on the offhand. I can just put that to 35. Just increase it a bit, and it will still not make the Rockbiter numbers. Now, Obviously, what we have to consider here is the added Rockbiter damage. However, here now we are rocking double Rockbiters, which means that we are applying the 14 damage per hit on both main hand and offhand. So that's interesting to know. And then if we go straight into the Lava Lash, you can actually now start seeing that Lava Lash, because we are now missing both Rockbiters, Lava Lash is dealing significantly less damage, being more on the around the 75 to 80 mark in terms of damage. That was a 150 crit here, that's 30 offhand, 30 offhand again, and then another 75 on the Lava Lash non-critical. So that's actually, yeah, let's leave it 35. Okay, so, and I'll just put this at 75. Cool. Let's just kill this last one to make sure numbers are making sense. Yeah, we're hitting 14 on the Rockbiters, and then, oh my god, so much criticals. Lava Lash is doing 89 on this one. Right, okay, let me just leave my character over here and we can discuss the numbers. So, what are we looking here, guys, now? Basically, if you think about it, if you pretty much think about how Flametongue works for us, it applies damage onto our attacks. So basically every time you swing and do wide damage on your auto attack, you are adding this 14 damage or up to 20 damage critical from the Flametongues. So what this would mean is that in the Rockbiter versus Flametongue, or rather Rockbiter and Flametongue option, we are adding this 14, essentially making the offhand damage be 55 up to 60 if it goes to a critical, right? So let's just put 55 here. And then on the second option, we are adding those 14 again to both main and offhands, because both main and offhand are enchanted with Flametongue in the last option, which essentially, if you think about it, adds to 70 to 70, 70 to 75 with the critical, and then the 14 here makes it to 40 to 60, right? Again, I can just put the higher numbers on those, and then I think now, and I can put this to 60 as well, and then if you see, already this is making the situation very clear. Even with double Flametongue, even with sort of bumping the numbers on the criticals and this essentially assuming that my main hand Flametongue crits every single time, I am not able to reach the wide damage of double Rockbiter, or I'm basically reaching it barely with the criticals. My offhand damage potentially goes a bit higher. However, as we've just seen, due to having due to having two Flametongues and not having a single Rockbiter, Lava Lash damage has now significantly dropped, essentially making this 10 damage difference. And if you think about it, obviously this is all testing with my current weapons, so people are free to try and experiment with whatever weapons they have. However, if you see here, my offhand weapon is hitting at 2.6 speed, without flurry, within the 6-second cooldown of Lava Lash, I would have hit about 2 times, obviously just above 2 times with my offhand, so that would be about 20 damage, and then the Lava Lash itself is 30 less. So basically every time I hit Lava Lash on the double Rockbiter, I would be making up this difference of having Flametongue in my offhand, poking for a bit more damage. And then this is really only comparing it to double Flametongue, because the single Rockbiter and Flametongue essentially does pretty much the exact same as the double Flametongue, however with less damage in main hand, and then this being offset by the damage in Lava Lash, which again, this is 30 here, the difference, and then you can see main hand difference here is about 15, and then as you can imagine, I'm hitting almost, well actually 3 full times within a Lava Lash cooldown, which means that in the second option I would be able to catch up this difference in the auto attacks. Essentially that would be about 30 to 45 damage in the double Flametongue that I would gain from the main hand Flametongue, and then I would essentially instantly make this back if I was Rockbiter Flametongue due to the Lava Lash essentially catching me up with those same 30 to 35 damage. Now, this is all very nice. You can imagine that I'm attacking level 20 mobs. They don't have high mischance, they don't have high resistances, and they obviously probably don't have as much armor as a raid boss does. Now, all the numbers here and all that passive sort of testing against low level mobs is nice, but of course in a raid environment this significantly changes, simply because the armor values and resistances of bosses at the very least. Um, what I want to mention here is that, and again, going to be really hard to try and find a mob with specific, or rather two mobs with specific armor values to compare auto attacks against them, as well as finding a mob with high fire resistance, which of course is what Flametongue would be severely hurt by. However, um, essentially the general rule of thumb would be that if your target is a very physical target with a lot of armor, you would probably be going double flame tongue. And then if your target is actually a caster and maybe has higher resistances or less armor than expected or than average for the raid you are in or the dungeon you are in, you will in that case be going double Rockbiter. And again, what I want to really stress here is that showing you some numbers and killing some low level mobs might not be the best form of test. However, the best form of test for you guys is trying it out yourself, and I can promise you that you will very, very quickly see the massive difference when using double Rockbiter. And I think the most important thing is that because lava lash damage doesn't really go down almost at all, and your in classic WoW scales with attack power, and like like warriors and fury warriors, they scale so much with attack power and strength. Like dual wielding is insane in classic WoW. So I feel like in the end of the day, making sure your attacks hit for more, and then obviously more often with flurry talent, which again might be changing those numbers slightly. However, it's really hard to like showcase full uptime on flurry and trying to get numbers such as that. However, you can see here this was a 230 critical on Lava Lash with double Rockbiter. I can basically showcase you that if I'm running any other combination, I will not be getting these Lava Lash criticals. Not even close. Not even close. And to be fair, like as per the Excel table, we should be doing Rockbiter main Flametongue offhand. And that should essentially be as good as double Rockbiter in terms of Lava Lash specifically. So this is this portion of the video. I will be back shortly and then we can go over some logs.